Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast discussing Ipswich Town up or down since 2015. I'm Richard Woodard and you're tuned into an interview special with an Ipswich lad, the fastest sticks in the east or maybe the west now.
The fastest what in the east?
Fastest sticks.
Oh, sticks.
Arms, wrists. What, you tell me, what's the technique? Is it wrists? Fastest wrist? Sounds wrong now, doesn't it?
Yeah, you just pummel it as fast as you can, I suppose, and just hope it stayed in time.
Yeah, well,
there's no secret.
Fastest, the king of BPM, the driving force behind the band Editors, who are clocked up almost 20 years together, released their 7th studio album in September. But I'm here to talk about a little bit of podcasty stuff. Ed Lay, welcome to the podcast. Great to see you. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm honoured to be on such a great podcast.
Bless you. Well, we're honoured to have you.
Oh, it's a pleasure. No, it's helped me out a lot. You know, this and the other one, Kings of Anglia. I'm a big fan.
Yes, your second podcast, Ipswich Town podcast experience, because you've obviously done a show with our good friends Kings of Anglia, Ross, didn't you?
I did one with Ross a couple of years ago. Yeah.
So we'll drill into your Ipswich Town history a little bit more in that point. But we're here. I mean, I was very quickly. You mentioned that kind of in your downtime. You are on a perpetual European tour, seemingly at the moment. Tell us where you've been. Tell us where you're going.
I've been mostly waiting for planes and trains. There's been a bit of it's like the Wild West out there this summer. It's quite incredible, and it's difficult to get crew. It's difficult to get flights, hotels. Everything is just manic. But we're getting the shows done, and they've been just world beating. Really loved the crowds, loved the experience again. You know, it's obviously been one of those times where everybody wants to get back and do what they actually do for a living. You know, we've been chomping at the bit, and absolutely loved every moment of it. And
you've got crowds who have been cooped up for kind of a year and a half who are just want to get out there, and live music is having a resurgence, isn't it, post kind of lockdowns and stuff like that?
Yeah, it certainly seems to be. I mean, you know, I know we're entering very uncertain times, and financial climate's looking pretty grim on the horizon, but people have been, I think there's, you know, you sort of feel it when you're at the shows. There's real energy to it, and then somebody enjoys that, they'll try and book something else for another time. And, you know, so hopefully it will be one of those things that will be their sort of peaks and troughs in the next year, I think. And there's going to be some hard times. But, to be back playing and to have a new record out is the new songs are going down great already.
Yeah. And you got, at the moment, as you said, hard times, you know, difficult times for us over the last kind of couple of years. You need to find the joy in music, is that, isn't it? And I worry about you as I need to out myself as a one-time drummer as well. In bands in Ipswich. I know what it's like to be carting around big pieces of equipment and expensive pieces of equipment. Have you had any cymbals end up in a different European city or anything like that, or has everything stayed together yet?
We're very lucky now that we mostly have all of our stuff go on our own truck, so we kind of know where it's going. We don't have to fly stuff around too much. But I mean, goodness, yeah, it's happened before. We've flown mics out on, and one time they came around on the conveyor belt at the airport, and they were just individual mics scattered around on the conveyor belt, and our sound engineer was just tearing his hair out. You know, just seeing his beloved equipment, bits of the trade, just like sprawling out onto the floor. It's quite distressing.
And drummers don't like sharing snares either, so you don't want to lose any of your gear, do you?
No way.
But it sounds like everything is you've been doing this for a while now, so you guys have got it down. Let's briefly talk about why we're here. Kind of, it's great to chat football, it's great to chat Editors, and we'll do a little bit more of both those in a second. But through your help and your management help and various legal bits and pieces and rights bits and pieces, we are delighted to be using one of your songs, A Ton of Love, from 2013. We talked about this just before we started. 2013. I didn't know it was 2013.
Yeah, making everybody feel old.
I'm really sorry. But we are so delighted to be using Editors' music on the pod this season and hopefully beyond.
I'm so
talk to us about that song from your perspective.
It's a real call to arms, that song. It's got this sort of desire chant in it, and I think it's a bit of an anthem. It's always been a bit of a live sort of anthem for us, and to have it sort of backing your podcast about something I'm passionate about is kind of just one to tick off the list, isn't it? That's pretty rad for me. me personally.
We're grateful too. And I, as someone who has had to use GarageBand and go pilfering for YouTube's free music and had plenty of feedback on it as well, Ed, not all of it positive. It's great to have actual proper music in the pod as well. And one, as you know, where there's the Ipswich Town link there as well, but you've been a real strong supporter of the podcast and you're one of the friends of Blue Monday involved in our sponsorship as well. So it kind of feels like a really cool partnership there. And it's maybe a different song in terms of your repertoire because, you know, certainly early stuff, particularly, and we mentioned the BPM and the fastest sticks in the East and the West, trademark me. But this one's more about, it's kind of more of a fat sort of drum sound, and this one, isn't it? It's a bit slower compared to other songs maybe that you guys have got.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit more, I guess it's got that kind of Springsteen-esque kind of feel to it. We actually recorded that record over in Nashville.
Nice.
It was one of the most mind-blowing experiences at this incredible studio called Blackbird Studios, where all the instruments they had about 30 drum kits to choose from, about 100 different guitars, and, you know, each one had a history of what record it was played on. You know, oh yeah, this one was made by, this was on a Johnny Cash record, that kind of thing. Like, and Tom turned around to us when we got there on the first day and just said, lads, enjoy this, because we are never ever going to be able to come back to somewhere like this again. You know, we'd never be able to sort of swing it for our band to come somewhere so special and do a record. So yeah, it was a real, and we lived in Nashville for like 6 weeks as well.
Nice.
In March of that year, and it was just what a way to live. Loved it. It's like an amazing little sabbatical.
The musician's dream. Yeah. Did you get cowboy boots and all that kind of stuff? Hat and all that stuff?
Russell, our bass player, has got quite the setup. Cool. Full jacket, trousers, boots, amazing. Yeah, he's
brings it out every now and then.
Yeah, you have to be big to pull that off, and I'm, you know, only 5'6" or whatever, so I can't do it. But he's a big kind of bear of a man. It works very well for him.
And you guys, worth mentioning, you guys are the kind of, as far as I'm aware, at least, the kind of key football fans and editors have had songs involved in FIFA and that kind of stuff. Is there much football rivalry amongst you guys?
There's Ben Blank Mass, who's just joined the band, is actually a West Ham fan. So
Flynn Downs, there you go. You can enlighten him.
Precisely. So I've been schooling him up on that. Yeah, we're all varied. Elliot's a Liverpool fan. Russell's a Villa fan. Obviously, I'm Ipswich. Tom's an Arsenal fan. He really, when we first started the band, he wasn't particularly interested in kind of, we were on Soccer AM once, and he sort of threw his hat in the ring for Forest Green Rovers, because he grew up sort of near Nailsworth and in Stroud, and so he kind of thought, well, I haven't got an affiliation, so I'll just sort of affiliate with them. So it's really strange for us now to be playing them in a matter of weeks. And I actually went to their stadium last year and saw a match, which I actually saw Corian Darber play when he was playing for Salford City. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I guess it's interesting. It's a bit sad that maybe our team is maybe at this level now, but maybe it's more of an endorsement of the great stuff that Forest Green Rovers are doing and stuff like that. Have you
I'd
guys
like to say it like that? Yeah. And also it is a funny time, it's sort of being at this level, but I think engagement is just so massive at the moment for our club. For me personally, I probably cared more in the last two and a half years than I ever have done in my life about it. And seeing the women's team especially come up and be so prominent and be so good and entertaining to watch as well. Yeah, it's a really big thing. I've got a sort of young family as well, so to try and introduce them to that, I've got a daughter who's 11 who's really keen on football, and she, you know, it's definitely her club. She looks out for them, and to have the women's Euros on at the moment it's an exciting time.
Yeah, and it's great that you mentioned that as well. You know, we're super proud of being involved with the sponsorship with ITFC Women, and it's worth mentioning you're obviously born and raised in Ipswich, via Stafford University, I guess, Midlands.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, I sort of switched to the Midlands when I was sort of 20.
All the best people do that, Ed. All the best people do that.
but the best people go back, right? So
True.
The very best, the cream of the crop. Maybe sometime.
Maybe some, but you do make the pilgrimage every now and then, and you were saying you're you went to Forest Green Rovers because you're kind of based in the West Country area, but you've seen us at Keynsham, was it? ITFC Women last season?
I missed the Keynsham one.
Or was it a
I
different
actually
one?
went down to Bridgewater.
Bridgewater.
Yeah.
How did you find that?
It was great. It was a bit of a double header because the day before I'd been to see Aston Villa play on Russell's kind of stag do, and then drove down. Actually, it was his birthday, and then I got down to Bridgewater the next day to see the women win. So it was good weekend that.
Yeah, quality that, and you're involved in the sponsorship this season as well, which we are super grateful for.
I'm super proud to do it. So yeah, I'm really happy. Really happy. As I say, to have a little bit of a link back to the club is kind of important for me.
Yeah, and have you got plans to? We've kind of talked about. You are off to. We talked about this before I recorded, and I've already forgotten it is. But you're off Bilbao, is it? And festivals throughout the summer. So
got Benidorm on the horizon.
Benidorm, that was it.
Yeah, I'm doing all the big hitters this year. I did Magaluf earlier in the year. Benidorm's on the hit list for next weekend. Yeah, pretty odd summer of festivals. You know, they're a bit all over the place, but we seem to have played Spain about 5 or 6 times. It's not a bad place to go out.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? But so that presumably makes and I will talk about UK tour as well in a bit. But presumably your primary route of seeing certainly the men's team is iFollow and all that kind of stuff. Do you get the downtime during the day to do that kind of stuff?
I hope if timings work out, it's usually slap in the middle of sound check time if I'm in the UK. But hopefully. Yeah, because I'm abroad, I might be able to get that on iFollow. Actually, I always try and listen to it, but if I can actually watch it on the video, that'd be pretty awesome.
And plans to make trip backs as dates allow. Obviously, we've got Cheltenham recently promoted to the 3rd tier where ITFC Women play, so that's maybe a bit convenient for you. But you did make a couple of trips over. Are you planning to do any more? Because I was going to ask you, are you excited for this season, certainly for the men's team? Pressure, expectation building, isn't it?
Expectation is massive, isn't it? Everything seems to be put into place nicely. We just need to, to pull it off. We really need to pull it off because there's only so much time you can rely on the goodwill and the support from the excitement that's generated by new ownership and a new manager and exciting new players. I'm really pleased with the way the squad's looking at the minute as well. If it's I know it kicks off next week, but if it kicked off tomorrow properly, I'd be quite happy. I think we're in a really, really good position.
Yeah. Any plans to make a pilgrimage back to Portman Road at all?
Yeah, definitely. I haven't looked into dates when I'll be able to. It never really works out, annoyingly. But I will try. I mean, the last game I got to go to at Portman Road was I think it was a Pizza Cup game against Gillingham.
Which we probably won. I think
we won like 4-0. I think it was pretty good.
The Dobro scored in that game. Was that the one? I know Dobra's long ranger.
That's it. But it was a funny one because it was literally the only match I got back to. I had to come back on my own on the train. I didn't bring my family or whatever. Came back and then left really early the next morning. So that was quite a long way to go for a Pizza Trophy game.
That's hardcore. I never used to that until I moved back here, and I live here back here now, and I'm not even 100% sure I go to all the Pizza Cup games either. So you get excellent hardcore supporter points for that one. So but hopefully see you at Felixstowe maybe for a game or two, and some of the away days perhaps hopefully if they fall neatly for you.
For sure.
Let's finish off by talking about editors. It's as you said, it's a super busy time for you guys, but an album to look forward to in September, EBM, 7th studio album. I'm making both of us feel old, but that 7th studio album and kind of 20 years on from formation back in the Midlands. How are you guys feeling about this one?
Every interview I do now seems to be focusing on the fact it's kind of 20 years since the band started. No, it's fine. It's fine. I've got, I'm growing old fairly gracefully. It's a weird one because it doesn't really feel any different day one. I mean, we're still busy. The only thing that's changed is that we've all got lives away from the band now. Before when we're actually together, when we're actually doing the things that we're supposed to be doing as a band, you know, playing or writing, it doesn't feel any different. We just feel a bit more kind of confident, I suppose. But obviously life gets in the way a little bit, and logistics is basically all we talk about now. It's turned from a game of just like turning up and playing some shows to planning and planning and planning, just to trying to get things to land in the right places. Even just to sort of do something like this, a little bit ad hoc and stuff, I had to really consult my diary and check when I had a free window for you. And I'm really glad I could do it.
Oh, we're super grateful. And the great thing as well, you know, the point where you guys are at is certainly you can make there's a lot more choice and control that you guys have. But presumably an album like this one, you can call the shots, really. There's no, you know, expectations, or there's no compromising necessarily from maybe where you were a few years ago. So are you guys proud of this one? Is this kind of feeling like you've got your stamp on it and this is the album that you guys want to make, rather than compromising or listening to maybe outside influence?
Absolutely. I think, you know, we're too long in the tooth now to really care what other people say about it. We've been a really lucky band throughout our career. Actually, we kind of wrote and recorded the first one without particularly any influence from anybody else, and then obviously we got pushed into pushing out the second one quite quickly, because if you don't act while you're on the crest of a wave at that point, you kind of disappear. So we kind of knew what the vibe was going to be for that. And I guess it was a tough period, but we managed to get an album out, which was really, again, successful and just sort of cemented ourselves there. But we've never really concentrated on just one country or one territory. We've always tried to get out into, especially Europe. And we did quite a lot of America when we were younger, to try and just make our band appealing to other places. We knew it wasn't just, if we were off the cover, you know, if we weren't on the cover of the NME, it didn't affect what we were doing in Holland or Belgium or Germany. You know, it doesn't matter. So we were just trying to make sure we worked hard in all of these places, played as many shows as possible, and we've set ourselves up so we can do exactly what we want. You know, we were on a small label. We're not on a major label who have got sort of really hard opinions on what you have to do or where you have to be at, or having a TikTok account and creating content and stuff. We don't have to do all that shite. So yeah, it's lucky for us, really. We're just kind of pretty old guys bumbling along in the band, making pretty hard music. I mean, this new record is much harder probably than the last couple of records. It's and that's in no small part of the influence of Blank Mass, who's come in. He used to be he's an incredible solo artist, but he used to be part of a band called Fuck Buttons when we were about 10 years ago, who I really recommend going out and listening to their stuff. So yeah, it's a great combination, having a new influence to come in on the group, a very positive influence, somebody who works really fast and is really excited about joining a band because he hasn't been in a band for 12, 13 years.
Wow.
You know, for that sort of new dynamic to be formed over the next couple of months when he starts rehearsals for the autumn tour is going to be really fun, really interesting, and I expect fairly full on.
And two songs already released kind of early for ahead of the album.
Yeah.
And we've already spoken about Karma Climb, which, you know, is edited through and through. It's a proper song. Are these kind of illustrative of the overall sound for the album, or are these kind of gateways to get people used to maybe a new direction, or, you know, not a new direction, but you know what I mean? It's evolved sound this time around. I
think the way you sort of plan single launches is exactly that. I mean, the first one was probably more of a gateway, kind of a introduction to the sort of sounds that we were putting on. It's quite techno heavy, but Karma Climb is probably, it's a huge song. It's, you know, it's got a massive guitar riff in it, but it twins the kind of electronic world with that analog world as best as we possibly could. And I think we actually really got the balance. Sometimes it's hard to get that balance right, and sometimes there's on our records maybe we've missed it slightly. This one feels perfectly balanced, and yeah, it's proven to be a superb song over the summer. Probably my favourite one to play in the set.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one, and we mentioned before back in the day, Birmingham Academy gigs and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, really excited for September, and you know, in terms of the live dates as well. turn of the year into 2023, you guys are touring the UK. As always, kind of, and I can say this as a person who lives in Ipswich, there's no venue really for you guys, is there? It's kind of, you play the Premier Pool Club or you play Portman Road, and there's nowhere kind of in between really, is there? So Cambridge is probably the nearest we can get to see you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, obviously every year I kind of kick our agent and say, you know, come on, there must be something that come up. What about the Corn Exchange? Is that doing anything? And he's like, they don't put on gigs there particularly anymore. It's hard. It's promoters, and it's a complex world. It's pretty dark arts out there. But yeah, Cambridge isn't that far away.
It's a good venue as well.
Yeah, it's a really nice venue. I'm really pleased we're going there again. And you know, we're playing some venues we haven't played before. We're playing Troxy down in London, which we've not done. So, and that's not a million miles away if anybody wants a night out from Ipswich. So. Yeah, it's going to be a cracking tour, I reckon.
Exciting times, right? Exciting times for you, exciting times for the bands, exciting times for Ipswich Town as well, exciting times for the podcast. And again, super grateful for you guys letting us borrow your song. We will do our best to look after it and use it wisely.
You're more than welcome. Let's hope it inspires the team to a decent season, hey?
Maybe it's the missing ingredient, fingers crossed. Ed, thanks so much for chatting to us. Pass on all the best to the guys as well, and all the best for European tours, logistics, all that kind of fun stuff. And then obviously the album in September, and hopefully see you at Portman Road or the Gold Star Ground or somewhere, not the AGL Arena as it is now.
The AGL, I'm not going to get used to that.
No, I don't think, but fingers crossed we'll see you at Town Game soon.
Absolutely. Rock on, Rich. Thanks.